Hello, my name is Todd Spitzer. I'm the District Attorney of Orange County. As you know, every single year we celebrate Crime Victims Week for the whole entire country right here in Orange County on these steps in front of the Old County Courthouse. This year is the 12th annual Crime Victims Conference and National Movement, except of course this year it's going to be completely different. Normally hundreds of people are here on the lawn listening to speeches by crime victims. I want to talk about the motto for this year's Crime Victims Recognition. It's seek justice, ensure victims' rights, and inspire hope. If you are feeling anything like I'm feeling during Crime Victims Week, it's a very odd time in our country's history, and when we look back on it, we're going to have to reflect about our jobs as prosecutors and the work we do every single day. We obviously think all the time, even in times like this during a pandemic, that our first and foremost responsibility is to seek justice. We've had overcrowded jails where we've had to decide who should be in and who shouldn't be in and make recommendations to the court. We've had to let crime victims know that individuals who are in custody may be getting out because of new regulations by the Chief Justice and the Judicial Council. But our responsibility and our job is always to do justice and to seek justice and ensure that the crime victims' rights are protected. I have very, very mixed feelings this year in particular because when Marsy's Law was passed in 2008, there was a recognition in the state of California that our Constitution needed to contain real rights to protect victims. We have that, we're enforcing that every day, but things are certainly different. The other part of the motto is inspire hope. I want and hope that you are inspiring hope in our court work, with the victims you're speaking to, and really amongst each other and in your communities. We're home now, we're spending a lot of time together. We're distracted from work, we're distracted from our routines and our lives. But what I want you to know is that you inspire me. You inspire me and the work you're doing to protect crime victims and to recognize that crime victims need to be protected and the community needs to be protected. So while you ensure justice, seek justice, and do justice, while you protect our communities, as you watch this video tribute from years past, I hope that it reminds you of why you do the work you do, the people that rely on us to protect them and our communities, and understand that these people, these crime victims in our communities, appreciate the work that you do every day, the work that you've done in the past, the work that you're doing in our courts today that are still open and doing the work of the people, and the future impact that you will have on every aspect of the criminal justice system. God bless you. God bless our country. God bless everything that's going on today, just reaching deep down to find our own internal inspiration for why we prosecute cases and why we do the work of the people. And most importantly, remember this week in particular and always that the work we do is to protect crime victims and let them get a sense of justice in a system that for many years before Marsy's Law and many of these constitutional protections, victims did not think was there to protect them. Thank you and God bless you.
Survivors of that have had their loved ones murdered always reach out and find strength in unity, in numbers. This happening every year is important because it makes my sister's death, her murder, something that's not forgotten, and that there's people still fighting for justice for loved ones everywhere. I would tell them to be their loved one's voice as many times as they can. A lot of people don't forget to be strong and to not feel guilty for still living, because we can do so much.
I am a survivor, and this is my story. My 3 sisters and I lived through horrors that no child should ever face. While it was happening, I felt scared, alone, and confused. I was also worried about my little sisters. I was 11 years old, and I was trying to protect them but I was a child myself. After the police became involved, our world was once again turned upside down. We were thrown into a system and we didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't like going to court and testifying, but I knew that I had to. I was feeling sick the entire time, and it didn't get any better for a long while. I hated the fact that my sisters had to testify too, because they were just technically reliving the whole thing, and I was mad that they had to remember what happened. The nausea and headaches went away when I learned the jury found him guilty. I wasn't planning on going to his sentencing. I wrote an impact statement, and I was going to have my advocate, Crystal Landry, read it for me. And yet, somehow, I ended up at the courtroom. Crystal and Cindy told me it was my choice. I ended up going into the courtroom, and after waiting for what seemed like an eternity, the man who hurt my sisters and I was sentenced to 155 years to life. I was glad I would never again have to see him in my life or my sisters. I was glad he was spending the rest of his life in jail where he belongs. I was also satisfied at the fact that he would never again hurt anyone else. His life was over at that point, and that was a major relief to me, and I'm sure it was a big relief for my sisters too. I'm glad the whole process is done with and out of the way. I always worried about the court date because it would constantly change. But now that it's over, I have no worries. I may not have put this behind me yet and forgotten about it, but I hope that one day it will fully leave my life. Have hope, be strong, and never ever let these bad things define who you are. You are defined by you and you only. Never let anything change that.
I was a very lucky man to have lived with my wife for 21 years. She was the most beautiful, caring, unselfish, and loving woman I have ever known. She was the perfect wife to me and the proud mother of our 2 teenage children. Mara's greatest love was her family. She filled our home with her infectious love for life. Her energetic and positive can-do attitude brought so much joy into our household. She wanted to be proud of the neighborhood in which we lived, so she volunteered to become the Homeowners Association president. She volunteered to be the president of the PTA Association for 3 terms at a local school. One of her many accomplishments was helping promote a live theater experience for the students. She was always looking for ways to raise money for the school. Before having our children, Mara managed several group homes for mentally challenged adults. Prior to that, she was credited for creating a student tutorial for special needs children within the LA Unified School District. Mara wasn't the only person who lost her life on that Sunday morning, February 13th, 2011. My wife and I had just celebrated our wedding anniversary the night before. I was cooking a big Sunday breakfast when my son brought home a lost dog. Mara felt empathy for the dog's owners, knowing that they would be worried she had to go find them right away. Mara placed a leash on the dog and walked down our street to the entrance of our neighborhood, only 4 blocks away. 5 minutes later, I went looking for her. The loss of my wife has been devastating to me from the very moment I realized it was her lying on the grass with a paramedic hunched over her. The mangled cars disappeared from my view as I threw myself down next to my wife. Crying out her name in anguish, I held her in my arms, still feeling the warmth of her body on mine. The paramedic said there was no pulse when we got here. Looking into my wife's beautiful blue eyes, I realized her life had indeed come to an end. Pulling my son and daughter down onto the grass with me, I told them to kiss their mother goodbye and tell her that you love her. Mara's death has devastated our family. We are learning to live our lives as we carry the pain of her loss with us every day. We would have done anything to hear her say, "I love you" one more time, or to see her smile and listen to her laugh. There will always be reminders that she is no longer with us. When our daughter graduates high school this year, and again next June when our son graduates, or when our children get married and have children of their own. Every holiday is no longer a joyous celebration that it once was. The wound may heal, but the pain is always with me. I've learned to live with it, carrying it around wherever I go, as a constant reminder that I am not a whole person. I made a promise to my wife as I held her in my arms that tragic morning, that I would take good care of our children and also to seek justice for Mara. At this time, I would like to convey my sincerest gratitude to the Orange County District Attorney's Office, especially Troy Pino and Wes Von Guyver. Their professionalism and hard work made it possible to obtain a conviction on the DUI driver. For Melissa Melgar of the Victims Advocate Department and Vicky Macia of Mothers Against Drunk Drivers, who both sat with me every day in the courtroom and whose compassion gave me the strength to get through the long trial. They answered all of my why and when questions with their knowledge and kindness. I am truly grateful for the work that they do. I am thankful to the good men and women involved in law enforcement who are fighting the battle against DUI drivers here in Orange County each and every day. Thank you all, and may God bless.